And we're about to start the next round. Lost the die roll. I am enjoying doing the sealed. I still feel like not enough people do sealed content. And like it's surprisingly relevant. There's the PTQs, there's the sealed championships coming up, like there's all sorts of things going on. I think we keep this one. We've got ally into ally into allies into smash your reality. Like we need to draw some lands, but I mean, we put lands in the deck. We put them in there to draw them. Also, how good would the Captain's Claws be in this deck? I think pretty good, actually. If we could rip them here, it could do a thing. Alright. That guy's a little scary, but Vampire Envoy don't care. So I think we just start with Zahila and then probably move to the Envoy. Like if he doesn't kill the healer, it's going to do more damage over time to him. He could have a removal spell, but I kind of don't think so. Like I can't think of a red spell that only destroys attackers or blockers. That Bonesaw though. Okay. I was gonna say if we hit a land here, I think we're just golden. Like if we're over 20 life against a deck that's playing Bonesaw, I probably like our chances. That is a real live McKindy Aeronaut. Do I want to ruin his path an Aeronaut? Or do I want to just play a Chain Mage and be like, fine, you have an Aeronaut. I think I'd rather do this. It gains me life, and that thing's not a real threat in that it's not going to kill me. It might make the game stall, but it ain't gonna kill me. And if the red-white deck is on the defensive, I think we're in pretty good shape. We've got all these chains. And horses. Are they on horses? What the heck is that they're riding? Okay, yeah, it's some sort of weird horned horse. That would have been good in our deck. I mean, sheer drop's cool. But yeah, we're fine just chillaxing here. Nice and patient. We got removal spells if we need them. We don't need them right now. We'll wait for him to play an actual threat, and then we'll do something like that. That's a threat. That's a thing that you would want to stop. So we'll probably kill that. Although to be fair, we might just let him play another ally and attack. I guess we're kind of worried if it's the, like... Because the only way to kill it now is with the Ruinous Path, and that's kind of cool that it kills anything. I'm kind of okay with him getting an attack in with anything, though, so I think I do like Ruinous Pathing it. The only downside is if he plays something that I can't kill with the sheer drop that can block this, I guess, I mean, that's just not going to happen, is it? Like, let's say he plays the double strike guy. Yeah, I'm pretty sad about that. I'm actually pretty sad about that. So let's just take this out of the way. It is threatening enough that I think it's worth killing. We can start serving with our flyers for an extra point next turn too. Devour in Flames. Okay. Alright, you got some dudes. It's not exactly what we were after, but like I could see an argument for attacking with these two and getting in one. So I think I'm gonna. Alright, we don't have anything. Like, I guess some kind of support card or something could worry us a little bit here. Rolling Thunder doesn't look bad against this setup either. Okay. Make your dudes bigger. I like it. You should put it on this guy and attack with it. That is totally what you should do. Because I will sheer drop it like it's hot. Yeah. Now attack me with it. You know you wanna. No? Okay. We're just gonna sit for a while. Alright. I can sit. I don't think holding lands does much for me. So I'm not gonna. That Chain Mage was kind of our way to finish this game. But that's alright, we'll find another. Another way to finish the game is just to draw Colostra Healer and what, 3 more allies. Felt like we were really ahead, and now I feel like we're kind of back to even. He's got a little bit better board presence, but his life total is so low. This could potentially get us in a good attack with the sheer drop, depending on what he plays. Okay. Well, that does mean that there's kind of a reason to attack, because he's going to start throwing stuff in the air soon. Soothsayer's not bad, though. Like, just drawing into more allies is another way to do it. Making him kind of race us. I'll be able to plink this next turn if I want to. So I think I'm just going to go with the Soothsayer. Like, again, drawing into a colorless source can hit him out of nowhere, surprisingly. I expect he's still going to attack with the Aeronaut, although he may just move the thing over. Like, that's a thing he could do. I was worried for a second there he was going to cast a Reality Smasher of his own. That is not one. Just lands into 3/3s? Okay, we kind of don't care about that. Okay, you got me. You're doing your thing. You do you, buddy. Channeler's big and lets me cast the Reality Smasher next turn, which, I mean, it's not gonna like wreck him, but it will eat a few of his dudes. So I guess we do that and pass. Like, at this point, I'm drawing a card every turn. And the Reality Smasher probably at least trades with this. I think it's worth baiting out a trick if he's got one here. Like, I don't think we're trying to overwhelm him on the ground. I could be wrong, but I'm willing to find out. No? Okay. That was one of the things that I feel like could have messed up this Masha. Gideon's Reproach is not bad. Claws is pretty good too. I could cast the Smasher, attack with it. See, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 claws, and equip it. I won't still have up Reproach though, which I would like to if I'm going to do something like that. I could also just play it and leave it in play. Like, the thing is, I just have to get in so many attacks with this and we're in business. I could also sheer drop that idiot and make a 3/3 and swing with it. He probably just blocks it here, but that uses my mana pretty efficiently. What are his best blocks on the Smasher? Like here, here, and here, and then I trade it for a bird and that. It's actually better than it looks, because then I can start using the claws to finish the game off. I think I like that. Like, let's clear up some of these things. Also, because it has trample, if he blocks incorrectly, we can use the Reproach here just to clear a lot of stuff out. Like, if his best block on the surface is this, this, and the 2/2, then reproaching this really screws his day up. Okay, that's not a bad one. But I do think I still like the Reproach here. Like, that puts him to 3. Excuse me, 2. And Captain's Claws should finish this game out pretty damn fast. Like, we're now one ally away from just winning. Turns out Reality Smasher's pretty badass. You still want to attack? You do. Okay. I like you attacking. In goes the team. All right. Well then, let's do some blocking. This may be him going to Wrath, but us taking 5 seems fine to me. Could also be a Royal's Retribution, but as long as this guy doesn't die, we win. Okay. I'm not tapping it either, so land and sheer drop doesn't do it. And we drew an ally, so basically, as long as this guy survives, we win. He's got to deal with the Reality Smasher and the healer. And can't. Alright, so he is red-white of the most aggressive variety. Multiple X1s. We're kind of set up for that, although we're going to need to be willing to trade our Colostra healer for it. This is somewhere where I don't like Captain's Claws at all. I don't want that in my deck. That's not what we're trying to do here. I probably don't want the Smite, although, I mean, he showed us the target for it. It's reasonable to assume he's got some amount of high ends, like the Fortified Rampart seems good. Also note, he got a pretty slow draw against us. I kind of want to get the Alpha Protector in there too. But he has enough flying crap that I may just want to not do that. Yeah, if he's supporting, we'll eventually get targets for a Smite. But us being on the draw, I don't think we want to do that. The Bearer of Silence gets a little worse because he's got his own token producer, but it's not that bad. We could consider the Hedron Crawler on the draw, but I still think I'm fine with everything that's happening here. There's a reasonable argument for Unnatural Endurance just because it's something we can do sooner. Like, I might actually want that over the Smite. But I feel like we've just got plenty of defensive dudes. Let's try it. This one is not keepable, unfortunately. It's got some of the cards we would want against this opponent, with the Envoy and the Sky Climber. The Bearer of Silence, not so much, but the 2 removal spells, yeah, I'm down with that. But even on the draw, I'm not keeping a 1-lander here. That one goes back. This we probably keep with the Scry, because the Allied Reinforcements is going to be pretty good against him. We're going to have to aggressively... I'm going to keep the land. We're going to have to somewhat aggressively use this Sheer Drop. Probably on a 3-1 would be my guess, but I'm not opposed to doing that. Like, if we don't... Well, I'm not using it on a 1-3, especially if I have my own. What's up? Dueling McKindy Aeronauts. This little dude is such a good blocker. I guess it's a little dudette. It's kind of hard to tell. Whichever. It blocks well. It's actually questionable whether or not I would block if they attack. Because if they use a trick here and then resolve that 2-1, we could be in a little rough shape. But that's not what happened. I'm not going to complain about drawing more things that do things. Nice defensive creatures. We've got Vampire Cleric allies and Core Scout allies. Everybody gets wings. And he gets a 4-3. That's something I'd like to kill immediately. And can't. So I think if that's the case, that's probably what's going to get sheer dropped. There's no reason not to attack with the Envoy, other than it exposes it to a sheer drop, but kind of don't care. Like, we may as well just gain our 1 life here. I can trade 1 for 1, but since we've got to take a hit for 4 anyway, I kind of don't want to. There was an argument to hold that back to block the land. I'm not 100% certain that that wasn't the right call now that I think about it a little further. I was kind of just looking at this as a 4-3 trample, which it's good as a 4-3 trample, but the fact that I'm probably going to get hit in the face with the land too is a bit scary. And that I'm taking 7 damage when... Well, I guess I'm taking 6 if I count the life I gained, when I could be taking significantly less. But whatevs. I will certainly not be attacking now. Gonna go ahead and use this while we can. So we're a little worried about that free runner now. I should technically be at 2 more life if I hadn't made that attack, but there's no guarantee he doesn't have tricks. I would have tricks if I was playing his deck. Like, I think I have to double block here, right? Taking 8 doesn't seem like a viable option. If this works, which I think the likelihood of it working is relatively low, but if it does, and we then are able to resolve allied reinforcements, we're in this game. even if it doesn't, we might still get to play Magic if we draw another land. So I think I'll go for this. If he's got a trick, it kind of sucks, but if he doesn't, it's just great. Yeah, that's phenomenal. And we get to still play Magic. So I feel like Allied Reinforcements is better than the Oblivion Strike, as currently any of those tokens can gang up to block this, and then we'll get our Air Force going and eventually get there. Alright, so maybe you've got a trick, maybe you don't, but let me see it. Fall of the Titans. That's an instant? How is that an instant? Alright, so what are we doing here? If we Oblivion Strike that, we take 4. If I play the Griffin and trade it here, we take 5, but gain 2. I think I'd rather just O-strike this. He's out of cards. He didn't show us anything super large last game, so let's go ahead and get that off the board. It's the biggest threat. Then we can resolve the Griffin, trade that, if we gotta. Like, ideally, we would just play the Raptor here, but there may be a world in which we can get some value from it. Would I rather just trade the core Sky Climber for that dude? I probably would, but if I draw a 2-drop, I'd rather be able to cast it and the Sky Climber, and we do have some 2-drops. Wow, okay. I see what you did there. You're playing Magic? That was too quick a start, and missing the lands hurt us a little bit too much. So I can play this and the Sky Climber, trade the Sky Climber, and still be dead, I think, right? Because we're taking 4 in the air, even though I can gain 4, that's still not enough. I mean, I suppose maybe my opponent just thinks it has flying. Like, he's already seen both of these cards, so knowing that they're in our deck doesn't actively change what's happening here. I expect he just swings in the air and we die, but it's always worth checking. This means that that one time I attacked with the Vampiric Envoy and took an extra 2 damage was exactly what I needed to stop and be able to stabilize. Now, do I 100% stabilize and win from there? No, especially not if we're just ripping lands, but the life point mattered is the end effect of that. Seeing him with all this stuff, again, kind of just makes me want to get this Alpha Protector in here and maybe just cut out the Reality Smasher. I don't need that to win, and my mana gets a lot better if I'm not worried about that. Like, the Bearer of Silence is still fine. The Holdout Settlement's a combo with the Envoy, so I guess I can still keep the colorless mana, but I don't have to have it to use that. So let's cut one of these and get an extra plains in here. And maybe just put in this Captain's Clause. Is that crazy? It might be. But I feel like we don't need that to win. We just need to resolve stuff. Maybe the Expedition Raptor is the thing I don't want. Maybe the Alpha Protector is just a bit too defensive. We're going on the play after all. I do want to play first. And yeah, we'll keep this. It's not super duper crazy, but It stops the early aggression with the Rampart and the Gideon's Reproach. And then we'll probably get to use this at some point. Like, it's reasonable to assume we'll draw a black mana at some point. We've already got the colorless in hand. Did not have it. So at this point I may as well use the Vestige. Well, I suppose we could draw Ruinous Path. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this into play. Being able to keep the Reproach up here gives us a potential 2-for-1, which I like. The one thing we don't want to see him cast is Oath of Gideon or whatever it is. Stop casting Oath of Gideon. Okay, Sky Climber. That's fine. So Chain Mage doesn't do a whole lot, whereas I like getting the Bearer of Silence out and getting rid of this at least. Yeah, he can launch this, but we'll reproach it next turn. Like, if that's his plan, is to continually launch this, I think we can handle that. Oh wow, that's a real card. That's the one that comes back, and we don't actually have a way to deal with that. So I think that means we need to be aggressive, be aggressive, which probably means Captain's Claws up, the Bearer of Silence, swing in, and then reproach this thing and hope he misses some land drops. Because we're kind of in trouble and going to lose to this otherwise. Like, we can make it where we're swinging for 3 and then maybe trade, start to win a race. Because it does take his whole turn to get it, and it returns it to his hand, right? No, it goes to the battlefield. That's absurd. That card is real. So we'll see if he jumps this dude. There's some argument to just accept we're on a 3-turn clock, so is he. We got to do one thing to nug that and hope we draw one of our life gain guys. Yeah, with him already having that land, I think we just need to kill this. It also means we'll always have a target for sheer drop, I suppose. Like, if he doesn't have another play, it starts to get reasonable-ish that we could get him. We now have an ally to play with the Chain Mage if we need it. Because that can't not block, so there's that. Alright. This again means we're ahead on the race until that happens, at which point we're no longer ahead on the race. So we really need our vampire dude. We don't have our vampire dude. Why don't we have our vampire dude? So I can put it on this guy to make it trade for a token. If he even bothers to trade it for a token. Like, at that point he may just take it and swing back. I guess I attack with this, let him eat a token, and then move this here so we can block both of his. But we're going to need a draw here. We're not just dead. I think Sheer Drop is probably one of our better draws because it can get us a haste creature out there. That shoulder to shoulder hurts a little bit. Mainly because of the bolster on this one. Not the knight doesn't matter that much. Good God. Alright, we needs it. Alright, so let's look at our draws here. If we take this, we take 8. Then we swing back for 2, 4, 5. So we need to get 5 damage out of somewhere. Is there anything in this deck that can do that now that we've sided out the Reality Smasher? I realize right now we wish we had the Reality Smasher in the deck because that gives us an out to a thing that would be nice to have. We could draw an Oblivion Strike, which does deal with the flyer. We could draw a Ruinous Path. Can we even cast that? We cannot cast Ruinous Path, so Ruinous Path does not help us. Envoy could have been a blocker against it, but it would not be now. We've got the Relief Captain, which would get us through for another 3 points of damage, but will not kill him. I was trying to decide if I need to chump here. I kind of think I do. I think the 3 points of damage matters, and we're not really racing anymore at all. Like, this lets us take 2 hits from this, assuming we draw something. And if it's O-Strike, we're still playing Magic. We're not playing much, but we're still playing. Smite the Monstrous. That lets us evade it for a turn, especially if he drops a land first. Like, we're not just dead. We have to do it during attacks, otherwise he landfalls and gets it back. Play your land first. Now you gotta be holding lands in hand. Like, a lot of stuff just kills us here, but that's a good start to us being dead. Does Expedition Raptor do a thing? I put a counter on the flyer, I hit for 4. I mean, I kind of feel like he's going to slam a land and kill us with this. But if he doesn't, I have 3 blockers. 1, 2, 3. I can't block this guy, and he's lethal on his own. Yeah, I think that's damn close. But not good enough. Yeah, because he's got 1 point of damage here, and I can't imagine he's not holding a land in hand, but we'll play out our cards. Like, this is why you play cards. Like, if we attack with the 2/2, he just eats it and eats that and swings back, and we're definitely dead. But again, we're putting ourselves dead on board if we attack. The thing is, this guy can't block. So, yeah. Just 2 damage short. And there's a chance we have a Gideon's Reproach. But I don't think I play around it if I'm him here. Like, I think this is the turn he wins the game. If he's got a land, it's a no-brainer. He just wins. If he doesn't, how does he win if he doesn't attack here? Okay, he had the land. I thought he was going to have the land anyway, so it was a little moot. This is the second time in Sealed that I've come across a very aggressive Sealed deck. And that's not typically something you find in Sealed. I think it's a unique feature of this particular format. And I kind of like that it exists. I don't like that we lost to it there, but at least he didn't kill us with first strike damage. It was close. We had some mana troubles in the games that we lost. I heard on the most... Where were you all my life? Like, we did have an answer for that guy. But I heard an interesting comment on the Limited Resources interview with Andrew Cuneo, which I really liked, where he said, a lot of games just come down to whether you drew the right number of lands and or they drew the right number of lands. Make sure you have some advantages in the games where that's not the case. And I think 2 of those games were just ones where the draws weren't particularly good for us, and our opponent was set up to capitalize on that. Either way, we get one more round out of these because, yay, Swiss! So I will see you in just a minute for round 3.